And I want to make a difference in people's lives, not only my clients, my agents, my family, my kids, my wife, my neighbors. I want to make a positive impact on the barista at Starbucks. Like I want them to leave my presence and feel like, wow, that made me feel good, right?
Hey guys, John McClellan here, Influence ATX, influenceatx.com. Check our podcast out there and on YouTube. Today, we've got a special guest. One of the things we talk about is all the people who influence this great city of ours. I think it really starts with real estate, right? Think of all the real estate professionals throughout the years here in the Austin area and how they drive the city. Look at some of the parks that were given. Look at the way developments happened over the years and how it continues to change, especially with some of these new bonds and new money that the city is spending. So I thought I would start out with Mr. Chad Goldwasser, who is broker of Pure Gold Realty. Chad is a longtime Austinite into the music scene, not just real estate. And we're going to pick his brain today about where he's from, what's he got going on. And first, though, Chad, I've got a bone to pick with you.
Yes, please.
And I brought a prop. It's not really a prop. It feels like a prop now because, earlier this year, there we had
what's in the
I got
bag?
Second place for best places to work in Austin.
That had to hurt.
Yeah, best places to work from the Austin Business Journal, which I've gotten number one before. This year I got number two. Well, first of all, who did get number one this year?
Woohoo!
All right, that was Chad. I had to bring that up. I was a little upset when he came in number one.
My God.
I'm still blessed to be number two, but number one.
When that happened, I was like, number 5. Woo! We're not number 3, number 2.
And then it was just down to you and me.
It was insane.
It was a little bit weird this year, too, because it was online. Do you remember watching it online and coming through all that? It was just, maybe it was a Zoom call or something I think it might have been.
And I'll tell you what, I've won a lot of awards in my life, like big awards. This one almost meant more to me than all of them because it has to do with culture and leadership and energy. And I think that's so amazing. And I think that's what's really cool about your company and what you do.
Well, I think it's affirmation from the people that work for you.
Yeah.
Right? They don't have to go above and beyond. It's a anonymous thing that they do.
Yeah.
And to be able to get one or two or, even any of them it shows a lot for a company, a lot for a leader in that company too. And that's what I think we need is more and better leaders around town in all industries. And speaking of leaders, you are a leader, and that's why you're here today.
Oh, well,
I think you not only influence the people that work for you, people that work around you. You do so much in the community with Rock and Restock, training. You've written some books.
Yeah.
Done some videos, which we're going to pull up here in just a little while. Some of them are quite old, by the way. You were an early adopter of YouTube.
Yeah.
I was actually on there today looking at some of my old ones. We had one in 2009. We were doing a little podcast show on there, too.
Wow.
Yeah. Interesting. And I look back on it, there's like 46 views, because it's so buried down in there anymore. But I got some questions for you. First of all, this is Influence ATX here with a real estate influencer, real estate broker Chad Goldwasser, Pure Gold Realty. Chad, first of all, where are you from? Because I know it's not Austin.
Not Austin.
But you might as well. You've been here forever. But where are you from?
I am from Minneapolis, Minnesota. I grew up in a town called Apple Valley. When I was 11 years old, I met a girl. When I was 13, I asked her to go with me. When I was 20, she broke up with me and moved down to Austin, Texas, and convinced me to move down here. Best move I ever made.
Minnesota, huh?
Minnesota.
Yeah. So you moved down here to Austin, Texas, and what year was that?
That was 1997, the middle of 97, I think it was.
So were you in real estate at that time?
No.
Or what did you do?
No, I was a bartender. I was working in restaurants since the time I was about 16 years old in Minneapolis, and that's how I thought I was going to be successful, was working in restaurants and building restaurants and becoming a restaurateur. That was like my vision, you know?
Well, I will tell you that over the years, so I came from the restaurant and bar business too.
Yeah.
I do think that the type of mentality, the type of person that's chiseled in that business, right, is some of the best salespeople out there, the best customer service, and the best work ethic.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, especially for a waiter, let's take a waiter as an example. A waiter walks up to a table 30, 40, 50 times a night, right?
Yeah.
And number one, when he first walks up, he has to introduce himself, and he has to get to know them within about 15 or 20 seconds
Yeah.
and understand what their needs are. If he can play into those well, they're going to tip him after it's over, so he gets an instant gratification.
Yeah.
Then you couple that with 30 times a night, 40 times a night, and the better you do it, the more money you make. All of a sudden, you train over 3 or 4 or 5 years, and now not only do you have this incredible work ethic, but you're trained in kind of a psychology a little bit, right? How to get to know people.
Well, I always tell people, like, I was a cook, and then they finally let me out of the kitchen. I worked for Fridays by the Mall of America in Minneapolis, and they finally let me out of the kitchen, and I wanted to do really well, and I really wanted to be a bartender. So I would not walk to tables. I would run. I would move really quickly. And the thing that you said in that first 15 seconds is one of the most important things is you have to bring some energy and some fun and some, and that service. And that was always the thing that I found was if I served them really well, if I took amazing care of them, they'd come back, they'd bring their friends.
Did you have bling?
Oh, I had a hell of a lot of bling, yeah.
And I remember the Bennigan's and Fridays,
yes.
and the rest, everybody got their bling.
Yes. So then they allowed me to become a bartender, and that's where I really shaped my feelings about how to serve people that I've taken into real estate. So it was an amazing training ground, and it was where I discovered talent and a skill of working with people and giving them the type of experience that I still try to give people in real estate.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted them to leave that restaurant, and I wanted them to be like, I can't wait to go back.
Yeah. What were some of the restaurants that you worked at?
I worked for Fridays, of course. I worked for Bennigan's in Colorado when I lived there for a year. I worked for a little Italian restaurant in Minneapolis. The first job I ever had was as a Subway sandwich maker. So
nice. Well, mine was Arby's, so just about the same level playing field there.
Yeah.
So you moved to Austin.
Yes.
And real estate. How'd that happen?
So I got into working for a company called Trudy's here. I was a bartender. I started managing, and as I was managing that restaurant, I realized that type of life and the hours that I had to work and what I had to do was not going to be conducive to the kind of family life that I wanted to have. So I was looking for a way out. I was 22 at the time.
Hey, wait. Which Trudy's was this? North
Trudy's,
Star?
North
South
Star. And then I went to Brody.
Okay.
When we opened Brody Lane.
I worked at the Trudy's North Star. By the way, for a short period of time. You know, they had that shift like at 5:45 in the morning.
Yes.
Migas and something.
Yes.
I can't remember what it is now.
Yeah.
But to pay your dues there, you had to go in and work like this 6 a.m. 5:45 shift.
Yeah. They must have gotten rid of that by the time I went.
Yeah, probably a good thing. That's why they got rid of me, because I couldn't show up at 5:45 in the morning.
Yeah, that's
not being
early.
In the restaurant business.
But so I was looking for a way out. I didn't have a college degree. I didn't have real direction on what I wanted to do with my life. I had this feeling internally that I would be successful at something. Mm-hmm. I got an opportunity to get into a business that this gentleman and my then fiance, we sat down and talked, and I was like, I'm going to kill it in this business. I had no idea what Amway was, but Amway was a multi-level marketing business, right?
It always sounds so good when you first hear about it.
I know. I was like, I will kill it. Hanging out in bookstores and meeting people? Yeah.
Now, if somebody brought up that same idea today, you'd be like, I'm that way.
Yeah, completely, every day. But it was never financially successful, but it taught me a lot about hanging around good people, setting goals, filling my mind with great things, leadership and sales. After about a year and a half, I had not been successful financially with it. I was looking for another avenue. I had just bought my first house with my fiance. We were 22 years old, paid $82,000 for it. South Austin, the house is worth about $600 now. And I decided I was going to build my wealth and become a real estate investor and entrepreneur. So it was 97. I sat in a class with about 100 other people to get my real estate license. And as I looked around at the people in those classes, I said to I was getting my license to know more about it so I could invest and save the commissions. But as I looked around, I thought to myself, if the people in here can sell real estate, then I for surely can. So that's why I got my license and decided to start selling real estate.
Yeah.
So
So
and the market was hot back then.
And who was
too.
the first company you worked for?
I worked for a company called Prudential Owns Real Estate up at 2222 in Mopac, and after about 3 months, I had my first listing. It was a mobile home in Smithville.
Nice.
Yeah, not super successful, but I met a guy named James Willoughby, who is still one of the top agents in the city of Austin. He was the top agent in the city of Austin at that time. And he
was a leader back then.
He asked me to come work for him. He's still a leader.
Oh no, absolutely. But he was a leader when there weren't any other real leaders out there.
Oh yeah,
right.
Yeah,
it was kind of it was. You can almost see when James came on, there was kind of this difference between how people started doing business as real estate teams and things after him, right?
Yes, he was an innovator. So he hired me as a buyer's agent, and he changed my life. He gave me a book called 30 Days to Success as a Buyer's Agent in Real Estate.
I'm not sure why my computer's going off.
That's all right. He gave me a book called 30 Days to Success as a Buyer's Agent in Real Estate. I was 23 years old. He said, everyone that I've hired I've given this book to, none of them has completed it. None of them works for me anymore. And the gauntlet was thrown down. I was like, I'm going to do everything in here. I was hungry for success, super hungry. So I did it, and it changed my life. And at 25 years old with him, my first full year as an agent, I sold over 60 homes, which was life-changing. You know, I not just financially, but like my eyes got open to what was possible and to bigger ideas and bigger goals and bigger dreams, and he changed my life.
I think as you get older and as you get to the career that you believe in, right? Then you also start recognizing people around you that are in that industry as a whole, that are game changers, and you kind of are drawn to them, right? And you take a little piece of every person, and hopefully you're giving a little piece of yourself back to them, right? And I found that as we get older, right, then we start calling upon all those experiences that we've had in the past, and it does open your eyes, right, to the possibilities. Like when you talk to some guy that says, and this is a company here in Austin. I think what was the first vodka distributor was Tito's, right?
Yeah.
Big thing. I mean, they're all over the place now.
Yeah.
But think about this. Think of like Deep Eddy and some of these other guys. They came in after that. How do you tell yourself, Tito's rules the market here, but I have a plan and I can do this too. And if he can do it, I can do it, right?
Yeah.
And then look at those guys, what they've done with some of these different distillers out there. So I don't think the market can ever be too much saturated. It's always looking for that next person to step it up. And if you surround yourself with people who have done those kind of things, right, you believe in yourself even more. Yeah.
And I think I remember seeing Andy Allen, who massive producer back in the day, get up on stage at maybe it was 2000 ABJ Awards, and they had done 80 million in sales. And I was like, how the hell am I ever going to get there?
And back then that was a big number.
That was a huge number.
Yeah, when the average sales price was probably 200,000 here in the Austin area back then.
And but I just, for some reason, I was like, I'm going to go after it, But they inspired me. That inspired me, and it pushed me because I'm a very competitive person to do better things. And so, James and Andy and those guys, great influencers and great people to know.
No matter where we are, there's people that we've used their knowledge and their wisdom and their experience to take that next level up. Or hopefully take the next level up, at least take something from them.
For sure.
But so real estate is interesting. Once you get in, you can never get out. Now, there's rumors out there that when you first got in real estate, they used to just go walk neighborhoods from door to door to door and cold call like a vacuum cleaner salesman.
Yeah.
This is true.
Yes. Well, actually what it was about 4 years into my career, I decided to start farming the neighborhood that I live in. Farming is when you take an area that you want to specialize in and you start marketing to that area, start putting your name out there, and start listing and selling homes. And a great agent can capture about 20% of a market. I lived in Circle C at the time. I started with it's a 5,000 home neighborhood. I started with 400 homes. I started sending out postcards. I started knocking on doors. I started calling people. I got my first listing. I did a massive open house. Then I got another listing. And then the next year, I decided to market to the entire neighborhood, 5,000 homes. So we did 8 mailings over 8 weeks, and I went out for 3 months every Wednesday and Thursday from about 4 till 8 p.m. and knocked on doors And it wasn't to say, hey, are you looking to buy or sell real estate? I was just introducing myself and getting my name out there, because in real estate, I want to be like, I want people
Top of mind.
Yeah, top of mind. I want people, when they think real estate, they think Chad Goldwasser. Like, that is my main focus.
This is going to be a little off track, but the most interesting door answer that you remember from that time.
Yeah, it was the first one I went to, actually. I was shitting my pants, sitting in my car, 28 years old, about to get out and start knocking on doors, and I was like, oh God, sitting in my car, get up in my suit. I get up, I go and I knock on this door, and this woman, she says, my script was very simple. I just said, hey, I'm Chad Goldwasser. I live in the neighborhood. I sell real estate, and I'm just out introducing myself. If you ever need help buying or selling real estate, I'd love to help you. The woman, she said, I just bought this house about 2 months ago, so I totally appreciate it, but I'm not going to be selling for a while. And that, I was like, it made me feel like, okay, people are open to it. They're not going to yell at me, and that changed my perspective.
I'm not trying to paint numbers on the street or trim your trees or whatever it may be.
But man, I mean, I took that neighborhood over, and 20 years later, after I started doing that, I still live in that neighborhood. I still sell a ton of homes. It's been a huge opportunity for me, and some things happened, and I lost a little bit of footing in the neighborhood when I went through a bunch of shit, but
everybody goes through that bunch of shit. We'll just call that BOS.
But farming, incredibly impactful way to lead generate. And
did you see people doing the door-to-door thing today? Any of the agents out there?
No. I don't know. There's one agent who I met about 11 years ago. She wanted to come and work with me. We didn't end up working together, but she wanted to take over this neighborhood. And I said, okay, well, here's what you do. Here's how you do it. And she went out and she did open houses, and she would knock on 50 doors around every open house just to invite people to the open house.
Right.
Took over that neighborhood. She is, a 50 to $80 million producer right now. And but I honestly, I teach and train a lot of agents, thousands of agents, here in Austin, around the country, and I teach them the same things. And it is the 1 in 5,000 that actually takes what we teach and goes out and actually does it, because it takes guts.
It does take
massive
it takes
guts
a little
and
bit
drive.
of work ethic. I think people are in this world we live in. They just want these leads, and a lot of companies do this. They deliver leads to their agents, but some of them don't even pick up the phone, or they don't look at their email, but maybe twice a day,
or they call them once,
or they call them one time, and that's it. Instead, just tell them. Think about this: if you told every agent that worked for you, okay, for the next week, you're going to have to go knock on at least 20 doors in this one neighborhood. That's just 20.
Yeah.
I've done thousands. I'm asking you to do to just 20.
They'd quit.
They would quit.
Yes.
Right?
They'd be like, you're an idiot. And as a matter of fact, I had 2 agents that worked for me when I started to go out and door knock Circle C, and they said, dude, you're nuts, man. People are going to think you're desperate, and we're not going to do that. And I said, okay. I said, I don't give a shit what they think. I am here to make a difference, and I know how I do real estate, and I'm going to go make it happen.
But, hey, I think I'm going to sell my house. What about that guy that stopped by the house about 3 months ago?
Yeah, and the guy that we see whose postcards come in the mail and his open house signs. And
well, this other guy sends his postcard, but this guy showed up to our house because it sounds like he cares about me. And I think that's wrong to say that makes you look desperate.
Yes.
It makes you look aggressive and
weak.
Willing to do whatever it takes.
That's weak thinking.
Yes, well, that's an excuse.
Yeah.
That's an excuse of not to get out there and do something, right?
Yeah.
So maybe you should challenge all the people you work now.
I'm about to, man. I'm telling you what, I'm about to make some changes, and I need to raise the standards, man. Because, I teach, like I said, I teach and train agents, and they come in the door, and they want to work, and they seem motivated, and then they don't do anything.
I think that there's this perception, and I think TV shows have played a big part in this, that real estate is easy. Mm-hmm. You just go get your license, and all of a sudden, everybody you know will have you list their house.
Yeah.
The reality is, even your best friends won't tell you they're selling their house until you find out when it's listed on the MLS, and for a myriad of reasons. But if you're brand new, you've got to go out there and pay your dues first, and that's. You said 1 out of 5,000. May not be that high. Maybe it's 1 out of 500.
Yeah.
Actually, might listen, right, and do what it takes.
They'll listen,
right. But do you know what the average a real estate agent makes in the United States?
Not much.
I bet it's
25 to 30,000.
at the most, I bet, right? At the average. I mean, think of all the how many agents are in the Austin MLS now?
14,000.
14,000. How many transactions do we had last month on resales? 3,000 or 3,500, something like that?
Yeah.
So let's double that because they could have buy side, sell side. So that still leaves 7,000 people that didn't have a closing.
Yeah.
And some of us, like you, had multiple closings last month. So what are the other people doing?
I know. It's insane, dude. I don't know how they live.
I don't either. I keep saying ABOR should triple y'all's dues.
Yeah.
Because then all the people who aren't even really working it would just get out, right? And then the extra business would be there for you guys, which would more than pay for your triple.
Yeah, and I love people, and I believe in people, and I love to inspire and motivate people, and it's just sometimes you can't, you know?
Yeah.
And so...
well, I think that's one part thing. As a leader, I think you have to recognize that, and you can't let it get to you, because the spark in that 1 out of 500 person, the spark in that eye is what motivates you.
Yes.
I've got some people that I work with here at my office that I love come to work. They motivate me now on a daily basis. I see them, well, I better keep up with this.
Yeah.
Right? It's pretty phenomenal.
We need that.
Yeah, we need that. We need that door-to-door thinking.
Yeah.
Right? If you don't have that door-to-door thinking, don't get in real estate.
Yeah.
Because that house that you're knocking on the door, and that's what it's about.
Yeah.
It's not about sending a dang email.
And I'll tell you this, I tell every single agent that I ever teach or train or coach this is, what is your number one job? It's lead generation. I can teach you everything about real estate, but if you are not on the phones, knocking on doors, doing open houses, writing personal notes, prospecting expired listings, every day, like, you're out of business, man. You're not going to make it.
You lose momentum, and somebody else will run right past you.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's happened when we go through tough times in our life,
right?
Right?
Happened to me.
Yeah, people, let's call them BOS, right? That people, they'll get that momentum, they'll just go right by you, and you got to start over again almost, right? Yeah, so it's interesting. So, from Minnesota, you're into the real estate business now.
Yeah.
That's what it is. What's the part that you really don't like about real estate? And I don't mean the sales, but I mean the real estate industry, and that includes mortgage, title, real estate, just the whole thing. What drives you crazy nowadays?
What drives me crazy? People that don't pick up their phone. There is a reason I work with your company. There's a reason I work with Josh Flores. There's a reason I work with you. When I call, you pick up your phone. I tell every agent, again, that comes to work for me, pick up your phone.
Yeah.
Like, pick up your phone. And I deal with agents all the time that I call them. They don't pick up their phone. They don't return calls.
I have an offer letter from you. Call me. Why aren't you answering the phone?
It's insane, but, I'm from a different time, I guess. A lot of people work by text. That's what drives me insane. It's people that are not dedicated to giving the highest level of service, not only to their clients, but to their peers and their other agents.
And by the way, your phone nowadays, when somebody's calling you, you can reply. Like, if you're on the other line, you can just reply, "Hey, I'm on the phone."
Yeah.
That way they know that you're there for them, right?
Yeah.
And they don't, because let's say it's not a real estate agent dealing with, but let's say it's a potential listing.
Yeah.
And if that person doesn't get a hold of you, what's the next guy on?
Yeah. Immediately. And I remember I was in my backyard drinking a beer at the pool 23 years ago, 10 p.m. I had friends over, and this woman walked out. She was one of my friend's wives. She says, "Hey, someone wants to talk to you." I'm like, "It's 10 o'clock on a Friday night. I'm not answering my phone." She had already answered the phone. I got on the phone. I was on the phone for 45 minutes with Rebecca Early. Her daughter bought a $300,000 home for me at the time. It was the highest sale I'd ever had, and that just said to me, always pick up your phone.
Always,
no matter what.
We're always on. People are like, "Oh, real estate, I can take vacations and do all this stuff." No, you're answering your phone at 10 o'clock
constantly.
at night. Some people have different shifts than you. Phone rings at 6. It's on a Saturday. It's on a Sunday. But that's the life you have to choose if you get into the real estate industry, right? It's your choice to get into it. And if you embrace it and do it well, it is a great life, because flip side, you can actually take vacations and still use your phone nowadays, right?
Yeah.
So let's back up a second. So came from Minnesota, bar business, loved that. Obviously, probably when you're in the bar business, you fell in love with live music.
Yeah, I fell in love with live music probably when I was 12 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you weren't in a bar at 12?
Not in a bar, no.
Okay. And fast forward, one of the things I love, one of the things that you do every year is Rock and Restock.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us what Rock and Restock is and how it started?
Yeah. So I was severely impacted by every seminar that I went to about real estate. I became, the number one core value of our company is personal growth. I love learning. I was at a seminar in San Antonio. A woman got on the stage and she said, every year we do a client appreciation party. I invite everyone that have bought or sold real estate from me, all of my friends, and they come together and I buy wine and cheese, and we have this party, and they all have one thing in common: I help them buy or sell real estate. And I was like, that's brilliant. Came back to Austin. I said, I'm not a wine and cheese guy. I'm a music guy. I'm in a music city. Let's do a concert. Let's invite all of our past clients. Let's put on a concert. And then my team was like, well, let's make it give back to the community.
Yeah.
And so the Capillary Food Bank at the time, it was Christmas, and at Christmas time their shelves get depleted and they need to be restocked. So that was the birth of Rock and Restock. It started in 2002, 18 years ago. And I had about 150 people at the Caswell House downtown. We raised about $1,500. And it was the greatest day of my life because I got to put on a concert, which is, I'm a massively passionate music fan.
Yes, you are.
And it's just grown, man. It's amazing. Last year, before COVID, we had, almost 1,000 people at the Belmont. You're a huge supporter of that, which
Absolutely.
I so appreciate. One of our major...
No, there was literally like 1,000 people at the Belmont at this last
Yes,
one.
Paul Cawthon.
It was crazy.
Yeah. And it's a very highly anticipated party. The energy is always amazing. Every year it gets better, and this year we had to shift it a little bit, but...
Well, your lovely wife, Tina, had a fantastic idea when it came to this. Obviously, in the last 10 months, we haven't seen a lot of live concerts here in the Austin area.
I've been seeing a lot lately.
Yeah, lately they're coming back, right?
Yeah.
But we're talking this summer. There wasn't any.
No.
Right? And a lot of the musicians out there, think about that. If you're a musician here in the Austin area, you weren't making any money.
No.
And if you had a waiter gig or bartending gig on the side, you weren't making money there
No.
either. And a lot of the venues, which we know have already gone out of business, or they were hurting too. And so what Tina did here is she said, why don't we do it online, and we'll have bids, and the person can go to the person's driveway at the band and play in the driveway.
Yeah. Rock and Restock at home. We brought the bands to them.
Yeah.
How amazing. And, I think being a massively passionate music fan, I want to help the musicians. We are the live music capital of the world, and it scares me to think of what's going to happen.
Yeah, affordability. We're going to get to that just a little while. So speaking of passion,
I
want to play a little video for you if you don't mind.
Oh boy.
So I remember, when have we known each other? About 10 years? Maybe
Have we only known each other 10
maybe
years?
It's about 10 or 11 years.
Yeah.
Not because it was, maybe it's about...
Well, we've been working together
we lived
for
down the
10
street
years.
together, in 2006. 2006, yeah.
That's when I moved into
it seems so long ago. So I have this video of you that's...
in Texas, and I am sitting here getting the
I don't need to see it.
No,
myself up just like you're doing, getting ready to make
So
things
this shows me how
happen
passionate
today.
you
If
are.
in a sales
And you've got a lot of
business,
views, a
which
lot
we
of people
are
talking
all
about this.
in a
Hell yeah.
sales
And I remember
business, you gotta
saying,
get amped up,
dude, he's ready to
excited
go.
about what you're
Yeah.
doing,
And then,
put your mind in it,
I know
put
you
your
love
head
live
in it, you
music.
gotta be leaders to be strong.
TNT.
Things happen.
Look it up,
You have
YouTube.
to
Fight!
fight.
And I know that's embarrassing to you a little bit.
It is,
but it shouldn't be. It has become like this really cool, that's what it takes.
Yes.
That is, if you have your real estate agents that won't even go knock on doors, then this is what it takes.
Yeah.
This is the guy that's knocking on the doors.
Yeah. That was 1997. I'd just taken #1 in the world for Keller Williams, and I was amped up. I was excited. All that came straight from my heart. And that video got hundreds of thousands of views on YouTube, and people were like, oh, he's doing coke, and that's a mixture. There's a bunch of bullshit, but then I still get calls today. Literally, 2 months ago, I got a call from a guy that was in New Jersey. He said, hey, man, my son is a massive fan of yours. He's shown me all your videos. He's very inspired by you, and he's getting married. Would you do a video a la TNT?
Oh, that is awesome.
And I was like, dude, for sure. So I did a video and I sent it up to him. And at the rehearsal dinner, his father presented this video. And But, you know,
That's why you don't listen to those other idiots out there who
I
are
know.
calling you out
That's
saying
hard.
they're doing drugs or whatever it may
Yeah.
be. They're the ones making excuses for their own life, and that person right there, that I'm saying, is not making an excuse for anything.
Yeah. Well, it's you know, I was talking with my business coach today about, you know, what holds me back sometimes, and it's the fear of failure, or the fear of I'm not worthy of, you know, or the fear of embarrassment and stuff. And you know, my team was like, we got to take that video down at some point, you know. I'm like, excuse my language, but screw that, you know. Bullshit. That's who I am. That is comes from the heart, man. I need to get that shit back. You know, I've lost a little bit of that, to be honest, over the course of my life through some of the things that have happened. But that is real, and that is the truth. We do have to lift ourselves up each day, you know, and we have to lift other people up.
And the people who will badmouth you are the people you don't want to be with anyway.
Yeah.
And the other people are that kid in New York, that young man, I guess he's getting married. He's a man now.
Yeah.
I would hope.
Yeah.
You know, they're the ones that are watching you. You know?
Yeah.
So anyway, I know you hate watching that, but to me, it's what you think it says. I think it says something completely different to me.
Yeah.
So, and I hope that you start seeing it more that way.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Speaking of how to see things, Tony Robbins.
Yeah.
How's he influenced you in your life?
Oh my God. So when I got into real estate, got through the Amway stuff, I realized I had this massive passion to just like, I never wanted to be good. I never wanted to be good. I wanted, even when I was in high school and football, I wanted to be the absolute best. And one of the ways you become the best is you follow the best. You study and learn. You grow as a human being. You become a motivator and inspirer. You lift yourself up. You lift other people up. And Tony Robbins, you know, when I really started studying with him, he changed my life. You know, he changed the way I thought. Another guy, John Maxwell, was the first one that really, you know, I started reading about leadership. But these guys, you know, along with James and along the book that he gave me, 30 Days to Success as a Buyer's Agent, it changed my thinking. And, you know, we always have to upgrade our thinking, I believe, on a daily basis, you know, and learn and grow, you know.
So did you spend some time with Tony Robbins, right?
Oh, yeah. Not like me and him, you know,
but
I went to...
You just weren't watching his videos
Unleash the
online.
Power Within 2 times, where it was a 4-day seminar. I went to Date with Destiny, which was a 6-day seminar. And, you know, I just really focused on where am I going and what do I want to do in life? And who do I want to become?
So Tony Robbins, obviously a big influencer
Yes.
on you. You've actually written some books.
Yes.
I see you when you come up. We have a big training room that you've used. I know you do training all over
Yeah.
the place. Tell me about the books. What kind of fear was there that you? Because I would have fear of like my first book.
Oh my God!
Like, what do I say? Do I sound stupid? Do I feel like I'm just paraphrasing everybody else out there?
Oh my God!
I mean, how do you get past that?
So-
how did you take it from? You know, I always say you hope that you're going to do something, but hope is not a strategy that you can live in your life.
Yeah.
Right. You have to execution is everything. So how did you go from that? Hey, I hope to write a book one day to bam, here's 1, 2, whatever how many there are now.
Yeah. You know, there's one way to get over it. There's another video I did called "Chad Goldwasser Does Not Care." It's
I watched it.
It's an interesting one.
Yeah.
But
check it out on YouTube. By the way,
becomes,
Chad Goldwasser does not care.
like I'm saying, on one end, I'm fearful of what people think of me. On the other end, I don't give a shit, you know?
Yeah.
I have to be who I am. So the first book came about because a friend of mine, Tom Singer, had written a book called Some Assembly Required, a Networking Guide for Professionals. He said, I want you to rewrite this for real estate. So I took that book and I rewrote it, Some Assembly Required, a Networking Guide for Real Estate Professionals. It went really well. It was awesome. And then I wrote the second one, which is called Restart. 7 proven keys to unlock your potential. That one was more just me, and that was scary. And it took me 4 years to release it. I rewrote it about 3 times. It had a lot of personal stuff, and it had a lot of.
Were you rewriting yourself during the book?
Oh hell yeah, yeah. I was rewriting myself too, yeah, many times. But you know, I have this passion and this mission, and some of it's selfish, but I want to make a positive impact on anyone I meet, right? Like my goal the first thing I say to myself in the morning is, it's an awesome day. I will positively impact the lives of everyone I touch. I've been saying that to myself for 15 years. And I want to make a difference in people's lives, not only my clients, my agents, my family, my kids, my wife, my neighbors. I want to make a positive impact on the barista at Starbucks. Like I want them to leave my presence and feel like, wow, that made me feel good, right?
Yeah.
Like to be around that type of energy and that type of person. The book tells about how, that came about, where it went, what I had to do rebuild my business after it kind of just crumbled. And so I got over the fear of what people would think by remembering what my mission is, which is make a positive impact. And I've had that mission for a long time.
I think it's important to write that down, what your goal is, what your mission is, right?
Yeah.
To know it. I think it's truly important. You can't make big decisions in life. I know one of your big loves is speaking.
Yeah.
Public speaking. And
Yes.
I've done some public speaking. I mean, obviously on the radio I do that, but you can hide behind a microphone in a dark room that nobody can see you, and you're just talking on the radio. But I had this one instance where I got to talk in front of my company, the nationwide at a sales rally. There was like 700 people there.
Wow.
And they're all my peers, which made it even more interesting.
Yeah.
And that getting up in front of 700 people,
Scare the shit out of you.
work with some of them. They know you. They're all in the same thing. It was interesting. I think I did pretty good at it, but
I bet you did.
Before I walked up there, and I'm not kidding, I thought about you and how you get up and do these speakings, and I was trying to be, you get very excited.
Yes.
Before you go speak.
Yes.
And I think that translates to the energy in that energy translates into the audience.
Absolutely.
Right? And so I remember thinking, okay, what did Chad do when he's getting up? He's just full of energy and excitement.
Yeah.
And he transfers over, and I felt like that's exactly what happened when I got up there. So thank you for that, by the way.
You're welcome.
I'll never do that again in front of 700 people.
I remember Gary Keller called me 2007 after we were #1, and he said, Chad, I want you to come speak at Mega Camp. There'll be about 4,000 people in the room. You can either speak or you can do a panel. If you screw it up and you speak on your own, I'll never ask you to do it again. If you do the panel, it's much safer. And I went back to my team, and they're like, speaking for sure. And I worked on this presentation forever, and I got up there and I was scared, but
Especially when it's your peers, right?
yeah.
It's one thing to go and to speaking in front of a bunch of people you don't know and don't work with, or work in the same industry with, but to speak to that.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing I always remember when I'm speaking. I think about music, and I think about the greatest frontmen. I think about, Mick Jagger. What does he do? Like, he's mesmerizing, like his energy, his movements, the way he communicates to the audience brings energy back to him, and it even pushes his energy harder. And so I always think about that when I'm speaking, because a lot of people, they'll get the message, but more than the message, they get who you are, and they see it in your energy. And, I've always tried to bring that type of rock star type of show. Not only am I speaking good things, I'm captivating the audience.
You're right.
So I've studied it a lot.
So let me ask you if this is true for you. So I've been doing the radio show, the weekly show for 16 years now.
Wow.
And when I told you when I got up and spoke in front of that group, and I get up and speak in front of 20, 30, 100 people here in Austin all the time. Well, before COVID, but after it's over, it's just like you're like, oh, you're just completely drained. Do you feel that way too when you walk away?
Oh my God. Two things happen. I'm energized and like, holy shit, that was awesome.
Exactly.
And then, my God, I need a bed.
Right. But you're also still have that energy vibe. Like when I get done with the radio show and I get home and my fiance is like, I go, no, I'm just still thinking about that. I'm also drained.
Yeah.
It could be a glass of wine or whatever it is. And so you feel the same way when you get done with that, right?
Yeah.
And maybe if you don't feel that way, then maybe you didn't give it what you should have given it.
Yeah. Leave it on the field. Mm-hmm. Leave it all on the field. That is my greatest passion in life, and that's the route I want to follow, with the rest of my life, is working towards becoming a teacher and a trainer and a speaker and making a positive impact on people and helping them change their lives.
It would be nicer. It would be a lot easier to do if there wasn't COVID.
I know.
Stuff, right?
Everything was cranking. I was getting gigs, and I was doing a bunch of speaking in the beginning of the year, getting paid. And then it stopped.
Just stopped.
Yeah,
everything stopped.
It's 2 o'clock.
And it's 2 o'clock.
All right.
I've had a Mac for 10 years now, and I guess I still don't know how to use it. My niece has tried to call me now. It's telling me what time it is. So speaking of this time that we live in right now, I will tell you that when end of March, beginning of April rolled around last year, I was a little bit afraid of the market and what was about to happen economically here in the United States and in Texas, and specifically here in the Austin area. Now, if I had only known what would happen, I would be, that's all fine. But this market that we're in right now is probably the craziest, most lopsided, and all for the sellers, right? There's no inventory out there. Prices are escalating in some neighborhoods
faster than I've seen it ever.
I've
been doing this for 24 years.
20% in a year. 25% a year. Hayes County was up like 18% year over year. What do you make of this market? And I know I get a lot of, well, our market's different. It's never going down. Well, that's BS, right? At some point, there's always that little correction, that stair step, right? Or at least a pause. What do you think about this market?
So 24 years I've been selling real estate. I've seen a lot of different markets. In the beginning of COVID, I was like, holy crap, what's going to happen to my life? What's going to happen to my company? What's going to happen to the real estate market? 2 weeks, nothing happened. There was people pulling out of contracts, people freaking out. And then,
by the way, there was so many people pulling out of contracts. I remember, and I bet they wish they hadn't now.
And then, boom. I remember I went and showed a house in a neighborhood over off Southwest Parkway. We were walking out of the home. It was an $800,000 house. Another couple was walking out of the home as we were walking in, not even on the market yet. We both made offers. We lost the house. We made a full price, great offer, and we lost it. 2 weeks later, we went and looked at another house, same neighborhood. There were 5 cars outside the house lined up to see the house. We had to wait an hour. There were 8 offers on it, and it hasn't stopped.
It's become
it hasn't stopped.
Multiple offers, prices, and one of the things that as a mortgage company we've had problems with is the appraisal piece of it, right? But if something's appreciating, let's call it 12% a year, right? That's 1% per month. And if I'm using a comparable sale from 2 months ago, 2% of 500,000 is a pretty big stretch, right? Or what if it's 4%? Or what if that particular market has moved 5% in the last 3 months? And that's happening in some places.
It's insane.
We were looking at some open houses about 3 or 4 weeks ago. One went on the market. We showed up like 20 minutes ahead of time and we just parked in front. And then we were the first person to go walk in and see, because only one person, I guess, could go in at a time. And I remember walking out, and there's literally 12 cars in the street waiting to go see what was going on. So, do you think it's sustainable?
Here's the deal. I think that with Tesla coming here, BAE Systems, you've got government, you've got the school, you've got tech, you've got great weather,
Apple,
great
Amazon.
people, you've got incredible food, incredible culture. I don't see it continuing at the rate it's going probably, but I'm not fearful. That's why I just sold my own house and bought a new house.
So what I am fearful, though, is that the change that could happen to our city culturally compared to what and who we are. There's a lot of people moving here from other states. They're moving here for a reason, right? Because of the politics or whatever, maybe their states or the tax, liability that they have, state income tax. California, some of these others, 13.4% on the income tax is their top tier there and that's not including their federal, or the federal. But I don't want those people that are coming here to install their beliefs. There's a reason you left where you were. Don't bring it here. And I've been hearing a lot of them, they understand that. Right, that is, but I think that's a good message we should also send. You moved here, 96, you said? So I've been here my whole life. So back in, 96, you were one of those people I was complaining about.
I know.
Oh, there's some people from Minnesota moving here. What the heck's going on? And we've all got to take it into perspective, but don't try to change who we are. But my fear is with the market the way it is and the way housing is escalating, the prices, and even rents too now are starting to rebound again after the COVID thing. That the musicians and the artists and these kind of people, we need those for our city. It's not Austin. Austin's not weird at that point. It's just techie. And that's not what we are.
So we need affordable housing because, like I said, I bought my first house. It was $82,000. Now a first-time home buyer has to spend $300,000.
Easy, right? And they surely can't buy in Austin, though.
No,
They're going to have that's Liberty Hill, at outside Pflugerville.
Kyle, Pflugerville, Round Rock, Hutto, Taylor.
If you can find one.
Yeah.
Even some of the builders out there are doing, give us your highest and best offer kind of thing.
I know.
It's the craziest market. I've been in the business 26 years. I've never seen anything like this.
It makes it difficult, and it makes it even more important. And there's two things that I want to say about that. Number one, the agent you hire, right, makes a difference. Like if you're buying a home, if you're selling a home, people think I'm just going to put my home on the market and it'll sell. Well, it'll sell better and for more money if you follow a system that is designed to get you the best price. Don't just throw a house on the market. I think people make that mistake sometimes.
Yeah, I think especially for sale by owners, they don't understand it when they don't know that the market may be moving as fast as it is moving.
Yeah.
And if you miss that target price, or worse yet, overshoot what that is, and now it sits on the market for 10 days, and his house that sits on the market for 10 days in this market, people are like,
something's wrong.
What's wrong with that house?
Yeah.
It's big stigmatism. So back to how do we preserve our culture here of who we are, and that's, with this, the creative class of people that live here.
Yeah. I am part of an organization called Black Fret, which supports Austin musicians. I think that any time an artist is online, if you are interested in the music at all, supporting them, giving them some sort of tip, they need it, man. And Black Fret is an organization that's a huge supporter of musicians in this town, and that's an organization to check out and become part of. Getting out and going to the shows now are more expensive to go to.
Because they can't let as many people. That's okay.
But support them. Go spend $100 on a ticket to go see, Paul Cawthon or Quiet Company or something like that to support them, They
need it, right?
Totally. Because we are the live music. If we become not the live music capital of the world, it's going to be, it's something that is a huge part of our culture and community.
Where are you going to be in 5 years, 10 years from now?
That's a great question. I've been contemplating that. I just turned 48 years old. I have this company. I've got about 50 agents that work with my company now. I want to continue to build my speaking, teaching, training career. I see myself, helping people on a lower scale, meaning not as many clients, because I still sell a lot of real estate. In 5 to 10 years, not selling as much real estate, having a team of people, and then speaking and teaching across the country, and making sure that my wife is extremely happy doing that.
That's very important. That's very important. You make
She's
Tina
the key,
happy.
man.
Yeah, that is definitely the key to everything. Buddy, thank you so much. If you're looking for influencers here in the Austin area, check out our podcast, Influence ATX. We've got one right here. Chad Goldwasser,
Thanks,
very
brother.
good friend. Thank you for doing this inaugural podcast, as a matter of fact.
Amazing.
You were my first choice.
Wow.
Thank you. Anything you want to close with, other than you love your wife? And
I love my wife. Life is awesome. Make an impact on people, smile a little more, and keep supporting Austin.
Come on, you love it.
Wait!
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, thank you. Good job.